The Pokot people of Kenya occupy a beautiful mountainous countryside in the county of West Pokot. These proud tribesmen and women drive through diverse livestock keeping and recently agriculture. As the economic weight of the coronavirus pandemic continues to be felt across the country, a new tide is rising. Members of the local clergy are forging a solution to an old problem that has cut short the dreams of many little girls. A spirited church service is underway in Mosol village near the border with Turkana County.
Hallelujah!
This pastor, a reformed cattle rustler from Takwel, has brought his church here to dissuade the villagers from the practice of female genital mutilation. Pastor Daniel Kapurion says when he first arrived here last year, all the women had been subjected to FGM, but now the people have experienced a change of heart.
Nilipokuja mahali hapa nikaeleza watu na watu wakubaliana mimi, watu wakaniambia tutaacha maneno ya ukeketaji, na hata vile tunavyoongea niko na wakeketaji hapa wameamini Mungu na wameachana nayo kazi kwa sababu watu wamepita maisha mengine kali sana. Kuna mama ambaye alikeketwa hapa na alikeketwa kama hajaenda hata monthly period. So ilileta shida yeye kupata hata mtoto.
FGM is practiced in 30 of the 54 African countries. Recent data shows that over 200 million women and girls have been cut in the world, a number 4 times higher than the entire population of Kenya. In another remote village in Riwa sub-county, a group of women and their husbands have gathered here to speak to us. Selina Chipichiu used to cut girls, but since a Protestant reverend converted her and other women in their village, they are now active in the campaign against the practice of FGM.
When I used to cut girls, I was not paid money for doing it. Instead, my clients would give me alcohol, which I usually drank with my friends.
Hakuna mali na inakubalika kupitia neno la Mungu kwamba kuna sehemu ya kukeketa wasichana.
When I had my 6-born daughter, FGM was outlawed and the preacher came to teach us against the practice. I was a cutter as well as a midwife, and I helped women who had been cut to deliver. None of the women I helped had complications, but many of those helped by my colleagues had complications.
Since female genital mutilation was outlawed in Kenya in 2011, law enforcement agencies in West Pokot County claim that they have been on the front line in the war against cutting girls, but they also point fingers at other quarters of government.
Political goodwill. You know, there are politicians who have been riding on this FGM to get votes under the umbrella of saying that, you know, it's culture, isn't it?
But I can assure you, school is the stop measure. And then, of course, Christianity, which is picking very fast along those areas where these things being practiced.
Back in Masol, Pastor Daniel has just concluded today's sermon. The nearest school is over 10 kilometers away, and the next church even further.
The Kenya census of 2019 places the population growth index in West Pokot County at 5%. With the entire national population growth index at only 3%, this church and its pastor represent the beacon of hope that stands between little girls born in this village and the sharp razor of the cutter.
The national government says it's committed to ending FGM by 2022. In many Pokot households, a girl child is a one-way ticket out of poverty. But for the girl to fetch the much-needed dowry, she has to be cut, otherwise no man will marry her.
Na babu yetu ya zamani alifanya biashara ili apate ng'ombe. So hapa ukitahiri msichana wako ndio yuko kwa market kabisa.
Faith Chepkiror is expecting a first child with a husband who is a teacher. She's a trained social worker who escaped FGM when she was just 10 years old. All her friends were mutilated and married off without education.
Because I have made my mind that I won't go through this. So I had to stay until night hours. Then I ran from our home so that nobody can see me where I left to. No one I see where I go through. So I have now to walk from our family to Morpus Rescue Center.
Data from the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, shows that 7 out of 10 women who undergo FGM in Kenya are cut by traditional practitioners. Faith says if her child turns out to be a girl, she will not be mutilated.
I'm encouraged for my sisters of the different community that have decided to move in my ways, that we can move in the same will, that we are going in the same direction, that in 5 years in our community we no longer hear about this FGM.
Ndoto yangu kabisa kwa hii maswala ni mambo ya ukeketaji ishi, na vile itaisha ni kujenga mashule, na tukishajenga mashule watoto watapata kwenda shule, kwa sababu watoto hao watafanya kazi gani kama hakuna shule?
Waris Kimathi, Technical University of Mombasa, top story.